Is this going to be a chunk? Is this going to be a chunk's worth?
Right, how big, mate?
It's a 32-pound mirror.
When do you have it?
Wafter.
On the what, sorry?
Escort wafter.
Good man.
Yeah, made up with this one. Came off a baited spot, about 17 wraps out. Just been putting a few bullies over there, nice and spread, and it ripped off. So yeah, really
It's a nice dark one, that one. Yeah. Real nice colours, almost plum.
Lovely, yeah.
Shame about the tail damage, but it's it's spawned out, as you can see. Big old shoulders. It'll probably be a much bigger fish pre-spawn, but there we go. Well done, son. So on this trip, I have been using a few different baiting approaches, I suppose you would call it, and in this particular mix is what I've been putting out by boat. So as the weeks progressed, I've sort of managed to get some spots established, and I've been putting the bait out via boat. So here's the mix itself. As you can see, there's lots of goodness in there. So we'll start off with the particle stuff. So I've got 70% chili mix, which is a mixed particle blend that they prepare here at Goncourt. Maxi makes it. It's actually amazing stuff. You can buy it fresh from him. So 70% in there, and then the 30% maize. It's big old French maize, and again, real gloopy, sugary, and the fish absolutely love it in Botte. So next on to the boilie content. Now I've got 3 different boilies. I've got Escort 2 here, Megaplex, and then the original Escort, which is the bigger ones here, the 20 millers. They're soft as anything now. So the reason I have different boilies and different sizes in there is really to keep the fish guessing. I've mentioned this on videos before. When people go on these French trips, they order one bait, one size, and it's quite one-dimensional really. I personally like to bring different sizes, different baits, and really sort of mix it up a little bit. They do provide some good boilies here at Goncourt, but I like to bring the Richworth boilies as they're great quality, and the fish absolutely love them. Then let's talk about the liquid content. So the first liquid I add in there is the Megaplex flavour itself to match with the boilie. It also has a really nice sweetness. It's quite a gloopy, sort of syrupy texture. It rounds off the particle in the mix in general and just adds a real nice sweetness. Well, good morning. Unfortunately, the action has slowed down for us the last 24 hours. As you would have seen, Jack had a bit of a mad spell yesterday morning. He had 5 takes in about 20 minutes, up to a half an hour. It's pretty crazy. Landed 3, lost 2. Our bite times have come in a very small pocket, in a really small window, really. In early morning, anything between 5 and 6 o'clock, that's sort of when our bite's on this spot. And if it's not been my rod's ripping off, it's been his. I'm still on 8 fish. I actually haven't had a fish now for a good day or so. And it's starting to drift away from me a little bit. I'm just waiting for them to sort of come back more on the feed on my side. The fish do definitely get around on here. And, you know, talking to friends that have fished this lake previously, every single one of them said, it doesn't matter where you are, you're going to get them in front of you at some point. And that has been the case. And I did have quite a few fish in front of me at the start of the trip, which I capitalised on. I think I had 8 fish in 3 days or 8 fish in 2 days, something like that. But it started to slow up as the weeks progressed. And Jack was sort of blanking for the first few days, and he's now into some fish as well. So, but we've both had a shut off this morning. This is the first morning that we haven't had one out of our swim. And yesterday afternoon in Jack and JB's corner, he didn't have a fish, but he did have a really nice 39-pound common last night. It was about midnight. He phoned me up. I was really dazed because we had an absolutely stunning barbecue. Really nice beef kebabs from the French supermarket and some couscous and salad and bits and bobs. Absolutely stunning it was. Salt Bay. And I think we all had the meat comas, really, to be honest. So we all went to bed fairly early after a few beers. My motto is, if you're not catching, you're drinking on these French trips, as they say. And it's just a bit of a laugh, really. Because the people do come on these trips and really drink heavy. That's not how we do it. You know, we have just a few cold beers here and there with the dinner and that. You're here to fish. We're very much focused on the fishing. We've been fishing really, really hard. As you would have seen, we've been using an array of tactics. We've had to chop and change almost by the hour to get the bites, whether that be fishing little particle traps, bits of plastic on the bait boats, or whether we're going out there and sort of creating big baited areas with boilies, spreading boilies, fishing pop-ups over the top, casting at showers. We've worked really hard. So between myself, I've had 8. Jack's had 6. He's had a couple of catfish as well, and I've had a couple of bream. I haven't caught a bream for such a long time actually. It's been years since I caught a bream, so it was a bit of a shock when I heard the do. I knew exactly what it was, and I caught 2 in quick succession a couple of days ago, and that was that really. And our good friend Tom, who's with the trip, he's yet still to catch, and he's gone off to one of the other lakes they've got, one of the new lakes. Maxim, who sort of runs the complex and cooks the bait, really nice lad. He's done us an absolute solid, or done Tom an absolute solid, and he's offered to take him over to JB Lake, and he's going to row out his bait to the island. It's a big old lake, and put a load of crushed maize, and he said he's going to smash it and catch loads of fish. There's no big ones in there, but just to get a bend in his rod. I think Tom's head has gone a little bit. He's sort of moved around a little bit and tried really hard to catch him, and it just hasn't happened. And you know, everybody knows what it's like on these trips. Sometimes you have it off, sometimes you don't. People tend to think that you come to France and absolutely smash it, but these lakes are super pressured. You know, this particular lake has got plenty of fish in it, but it's super pressured. There's just big groups of people, week in, week out. It's booked for a year or so in advance, and it sees it all. Spoms, bait boats, particle, boilies, pellet, rowing boats, big beds of baits. It sees it all. So actually trying to catch them can be tricky, but I find if you stick to your guns and you focus on watercraft and you don't change too much and you keep consistent and you don't lose your head as soon as you wake up in the first couple of days and you haven't caught, you would be all right. You just need to be consistent, figure out what's going on, keep your eyes on the water, think watercraft first, and you'll catch them. And that's what's happened on this trip. I'm really proud of myself and Greener. We've fished our tits off, I'll call it that, in very hard conditions. There's been the guys from Scunthorpe on the far bank. They've been the group that have been having it off. They've had lots of fish in front of them, and we've been sort of picking them off as and when in small periods. Like I say, you would have seen I've had double takes and triple takes, but they have been within 20 minutes period. And we're getting it out, unhooking the fish, getting the rod straight back out. And if we hadn't identified those small feeding spells and we hadn't really been on it, we probably only would have caught one or two fish, throughout the trip, because those spells have been so small. They've been, 1 or 2 spells over the 2-3 days, and we've just realised they're having it, and we're just getting it back out there and trying to capitalise and catch as much as possible, really. So we've still got some time. It's Thursday. We've got all of tonight, all of tomorrow night, and then we're off early for the old long drive back to the UK. And then we've got the Champions League final. Hopefully we'll be back in time for that. So come on, you Spurs! Because our bite times are so different, it's been really good for a social. JB will come over in the morning and then sort of mid-afternoon and sort of hang out with us, because his bite time is 4 o'clock, although we did have one last night. So it's been good for the social element for it as well, with the different... So we sort of just build everything, get ready for that morning feed spell. And we're going to sit throughout today. And if it doesn't pan out, and again we don't catch in the morning, we'll be on the move. We'll get the stalking rods out and see if we can sort of maybe set a few traps and see if there's some stalking opportunities. So it's 35 acres, there's plenty of water that's been untapped this week, little edges, little traps. And let's see what we can do. But I'm on 8. I've set myself the target for 10. That was what I said at the start of the week. A 40 plus, 10 fish, and to get the rest of the boys a PB, which we've done with Jack and JB. We just need to get Tom a PB, and yeah, we're there. Target set, hopefully. Let's get on it. Let's catch some more of these bot bangers. Unfortunately, things really were slowing up at this point, with no signs of any feeding fish in our swim at all. No signs of any fish at that matter. So myself and Greener decided to reel in and go have a look round the lake to see if there was anything else we could have a little fish for. We did manage to find some fish in the bottom corner in an area that you couldn't get to from any swim. So we managed to find a little poke hole in the reeds, get our waders on, and we managed to wade out to this small gravel bar, just shallow enough for us to stand for a few hours, where we fished for these fish. Unfortunately, they weren't playing ball. After a savage French rainstorm, we returned back to our swim, where we were greeted with the most stunning rainbow I've ever seen whilst fishing. It was really beautiful and mesmerising, to be honest. So after taking that all in, it was back to getting our fishing heads in the game and getting ready for the night ahead. At this point, the trip was slowly coming to the end, so it was time to really concentrate and see if we could get a few more French bites. We got all the rods back out, and sadly it was a very quiet night. Again, a very misty morning, and as the sun started to rise, things really started to kick off. first one of a crazy 4-fish feeding spell this morning. It's a little bit later than we've had, isn't it? It's sort of later morning. This one was 30 pounds on the nose. Absolutely beasted me boat battle. The weeds really come up and everyone will have to go out in the boat now. But we've got it back in. Absolutely beautiful common. Yeah, stunner. Mwah. Is the alarm off?
The alarm's on.
My back's gonna get broke, man. Spinal.
Spinal.
Cheers, mate. Did me a solid on cheese. This is fish number 11 for me. 28 pounds, spawned out beast of a long common. This one absolutely beasted me in the boat. What a battle, like a 20-minute battle. JB helped me in the boat. We got out of the weed and she towed us around for 20 minutes and yeah, she is. What a beauty. Let's get her back. Get in. £32 bar of gold. Another boat battle and she was mine. Oh, I got a fin up and everything that she's angry.
Nice.
What a beauty. Thank you for the help, Greeno.
No worries, mate.
Had JB on the boat. Actually, I don't think you even helped me with this one. You were doing your rods.
Got him.
But this is the one. I was playing a fish, and the spot was that productive. I was playing a fish out on a boat away from the spot, and I got Greeno to do a recast. And this is the result of the recast.
Hashtag greener.
Hashtag Greeno. This one's for Greeno. What a beauty. Right, let's let her go. Ooh, my back is jacked.
Spinal.
I broke my back. It's spinal. Right, biggest one for me of the trip. 44. What was it? What was the ounce?
43.10, wasn't it?
44.10. And beast of a mirror, big, real chunky one. I'm having problems lifting it, to be honest. It's a back burner. Or I'll get it up for you, and we get some shots. Oh. Strange shape, chunky shape. What a beauty. Oh. Right, there we go. Get some more shots and get her back. So let's talk rigs again. As you would have seen throughout this trip, I've used a few different rigs depending on the angling situation, whether that be the lake bed that I'm fishing on or the baiting situation, etc. Now I've been using this rig on my clean, sort of firmer gravel spots that I've been feeding a lot of bait on, using a wafter hook bait. That's just that's a 40mm S-core wafter. It's a size 4 Fang X hook, Nash Fang X hook, really, really sharp. 15 pound IQ2, just down to a little anti-tangle sleeve. This particular rig is a really good hooker of fish, particularly when you're fishing on clean lake beds. Due to the stiff material, it reacts really quick in the fish's mouth and just absolutely nails them. I use a mini ring swivel there, and you can see the rotation on it is immense. I use this on clean bottoms. I've even used this rig in silt in times past in much longer lengths. At the moment I'm using 7 inches. Absolutely nails them. It was the final morning, and just on first light I was rudely awoken, this time not by a screaming rod, but by JB over the walkie-talkie. The fish had started to spawn again. I'd spoken to the owner previously and they'd already spawned twice this year, but they were due their third and final spawn. And with the warm temperatures we'd start to have towards the end of the week, it was only a matter of time before this happened. Luckily for myself and Greener, there was no signs of any spawning fish in front of us, so we kept the rods out for the final few hours. I stayed around in JB's swim, watching the spawning fish. I really love watching them spawn, so you get to see them up and close and personal. It's that one time of the year where they throw caution to the wind and really go for it. I saw some absolute units and also some really stunning scaly fish. I couldn't stay for too long, as I had to be back at my swim, ready for the big pack up before the drive to England. Fingers crossed for that one final chance before we had to reel in.
Unfortunately, it's that time. It's the final morning. There's only an hour or so until we actually have to be off the lake. I had this one early morning. My final send-off from the Botte. £30.14. Nice little grey mirror. It's been an absolutely buzzing trip. Having a good social with the lads and catching plenty of fish. It's been tough. We've had everything from storms, heat waves, spawning fish, you name it. It's definitely been the spring carp adventure, but we pulled through, we've worked hard and we've got a few bites. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the film. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I hope we'll see you in the banks in time. Actually not a bad one, isn't it? Looking wise. I just wait for JB to hush his gums.
Oh, are you filming?
Yeah.
It's alright, mate.